Sarcanola. Does anybody have any questions about the career preparing for it that I can answer?
So do you say exotic animals should
So the question was if I see exotic animals or just cats and dogs. And actually, since one of my main interests was rabbits, because I raise and show them, I am a little more inclined towards exotics. So I've taken on hamsters, rabbits, guinea pigs, pretty much small and furry animals. Not too much into lizards or birds, but so we've added those to our practice since I've been there. And then of course we see cats and dogs. And the great thing about veterinary medicine is that once you go through the program, you're allowed to see any animal. You're allowed to, so even if you want to emphasize small animals, you can still see horses, cows. It's all, in general, mammals are mammals, so medicine is medicine. There's going to be differences in species to species, but once you have that good knowledge base, you know where to find information, and you can figure out how to treat pretty much any animal.
Did you ever work with really big animals in vet school?
The question was if I ever worked with large animals in vet school. And the great thing about vet school is people bring a lot of fun animals for you to work with. I got to work with a camel. We have bears at our school. Once in a while, we have like large pot-bellied pigs we'll do surgeries on. So yeah, definitely in school there's a lot of fun animals you get to see.
When did you choose your emphasis and kind of how did they walk you through that? Because did you get experience with a lot of a range of animals and then you get to choose, and then where do you factor into choosing the emphasis?
Okay. So the question is basically if you have to choose, what direction you want to go with small or large animals and when you do that. So that goes back to your preparation for vet school, because a good thing for your application is to show that you have experience with small and large animals. The first time I applied to vet school, I was an alternate, and the biggest thing on my application that I was missing was large animal experience. So I spent 3 months working with horses, and that got me in the following year. So that really helps you develop your interests, is your preparation for school. Once you're in school, not everybody knows what they want to do. The first couple of years, you're rotating through all types of animals, so you don't really have a choice. It's not a tracking system. Some colleges are, but Washington State isn't. So you'll get an idea during that time. Your third year, you start to decide, you can choose electives and go more towards the path that you want to. And that goes back to your senior year as well, where you're in clinics. You get to choose a lot of rotations that interest you most. But basically, during that first 2 years, you develop an idea of which direction you want to go.
Did you consider vet schools outside of Washington, or you mentioned you were raised in Fall City and stayed here?
Right.
Was Washington State really where you wanted to end up, or did you apply all over the country?
Right. So the question was if I considered other schools or applied elsewhere. The big thing about vet schools is it's really difficult to get into an out-of-the-state school if you have a vet school in your state. There's so few vet schools that that makes a big difference. And also another part that kind of played into my decision, and the big one now, is economics, because vet school is expensive enough when you're in state. It pretty much doubles or triples when you go out of state. And so you have to look at now my debt when I get out of school, and is my salary going to be sufficient for me to pay back that debt and live? So that was a big deciding factor for me, because I did apply to a school in California that I could have gone to, but it would have costed me 3 times as much money in the long run. So WSU was a good school, and it was economically a good choice for me.
Sorry, if you were to work for large animals, would it be harder for you to find a job?
The question is if working with large animals is harder to find a job. And in general, actually, if you have more large animal or specifically food animal experience, it actually looks better on your application to get into vet school, and because there's a lack of those veterinarians out there. Most people want to go into small animals, so that would actually help you in the long run as far as following a career path. Equine is its own specialty, so that's a little more difficult, but if you're looking into more of the farm animals, there's a very large demand for that.
How do you get paid for veterinary school?
The question is, how did I pay for veterinary school? The answer is I still am. So basically, it's the same as what you guys do now. You apply for financial aid, you get your loans, you budget it out for the year. So it's all financial aid. It's very difficult to work while you're in vet school because it's pretty much like a full-time job.
How much are you reading up on like new surgeries or techniques? I know you said that, like how often are you reading up on those journals and articles and such?
Right, so the question is how often do I try to keep up on and read up on more current information? The answer is I have a couple magazines I'm subscribed to, so they come in the mail, I read them. So that's a great way of keeping up on current things. There's also veterinary information networks online that are great, that you can go on if you have questions about cases, post your case, get replies from other veterinarians, and on that network as well as there'll be pop-ups of new case reports, new ideas. So it's definitely a constant thing of learning. Well, great. Yeah.
I have one more question.
Sure.
How did you find those volunteer experiences? Who did you approach?
So the question is, how do you find volunteer experiences? And personally, I was really lucky because my dad is a commercial contractor, and he built out a vet clinic and asked the doctor if I could get a job there, and I spent 10 years there. So that worked out really, really well for me. Most people aren't so lucky. You have to approach multiple vet clinics. We have had a couple people come into our clinic, ask to shadow. Most places are pretty willing to let you shadow. If you want to actually get a job, that might be a little more difficult, but getting a job as kennel help is a good place to start. And going to multiple places is a big thing. Don't give up. There's a lot of veterinary clinics. One of them is going to let you shadow. All right, well, thank you everybody.